Hello and welcome back to Bob's Shop. Today what I'm going to do is show how to create a housing for the magnetic encoder. Now what the housing looks like in its final form is this. It's a three-dimensional part. As you can see, it's machined on all sides. This is a block. I've already made the cut mark right here, so we're going to go ahead, cut this piece out, and get it ready to machine it. Alright, we have a cutter in here. What we're going to use is this cutter to go and smooth out the top here. That completes all the drilling operations. Okay, that finishes up the piece for the top side. Let's clean it up, vacuum up some of this mess, and so we can see what in order we have. Indexing on this part is going to be a little bit different, because if I tried to indicate on this side and this side, there's no real guarantee that this side isn't cut a little bit differently than that. So what I'm going to do instead is I'm using that drill that we went all the way through and lined it up so that this goes directly through that hole with no binding. So now I know that this point is the X 0.75 and the Y 0.75. So we're going to go off of that. The excess material has been removed now, and now you can see the general outline of the curve right now. I've removed one of the supports, basically one of the long pieces, and this piece where it fits is now with that hole, goes in like that. So if you can see from this that the curvature matches now, so it's nice and tight. Next step is going to now to mark these two holes, go and drill and then tap this for the screws that will actually hold this in place. Now we have most of the components available. Here's the encoder, the housing. Now I didn't go and show making this, but basically it's just a round piece of delrin that's been drilled and tapped for a 440 screw. This will be not only the lever that rotates, this is going to fit on the shaft, not only rotates, but also is essentially the set screw for this too, so that when this is put together, this piece goes in here like that, the encoder. This is the back side. On this side now will be this, and this piece, the 440 all thread, basically comes through the slot and rotates the shaft. So here it is put together, just a quick test fitting. Got the shoulder bolt in there. It is now screwed in. Got the lines here. I've already marked where the 0 point was, or the 2048 point is, and you can see from the swing, this is swings fairly freely, so clearances look good. So the next thing to do now is going to be mounting this whole assembly back together again. I have to take this off first, but put it all back together again and fabricate the nut portion that goes on to the end of this, and on the other end of these wires is all the connections that will go into the patch panel for the sensors. So that'll be the next part to do. But overall, this was the setup for how the encoders are working, how they were designed, how it was put together. There's a cover that I'll have to fabricate yet for this. I'm hoping that I'll have a laser cutter soon that I can do that, otherwise I'll just do it by manually. The next thing then will be to start testing this to make sure that all these parts and pieces actually work together the way they should. The one thing we'll have to do also now, once this has been validated and this works out properly, I have 11 more of these to make.